We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Thank you very much for attending tonight. Councilwoman Cuellar, if you would be so kind.
Let us pray. Almighty God and Father, we come into your presence and we ask that you, first we offer you thanksgiving for the many blessings that you bestow upon the city and upon each and every one of us. And Lord, at this time, we ask that you lead and guide us during our council meeting here today, that we may make very wise and prudent decisions that are in the best interest of the city as well as our residents. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Roll call. Councilman London.
Present.
Councilwoman Cuellar.
Here.
Councilman Box.
Here.
Councilman Sims.
Here.
And myself present as well. At this time, we would take a motion for the approval of the minutes from the September 20th, 2022 meeting.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of the September 20th meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays or abstentions? Fair enough. At this time, I'll take a motion for the payment of the bills.
Make a motion, we pay the bills in the amount of $646,390.14.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. At this time, we would be looking for any professional or consultants that have a report for us this evening. Any professionals or consultants? Fair enough. Mayor, you have the floor, sir.
All right. Thank you, Council President, for giving me this opportunity to be able to share with our citizens. I want to thank everybody that has come out tonight. Hopefully that you will be able to learn something about the city that you did not know about the city, but also it gives you an opportunity to be able to hear us to deliberate firsthand, to be able to hear what's transpired in the council meeting instead of getting it from someone that may not have been in attendance. The first thing that I wanted to do, there are a few announcements on the community calendar that I want to talk about, and then I have some proclamations that I would like to give out tonight as well. Tomorrow, we're having our monthly prayer meeting at Church of the Highlands. It would be from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. It is open to the public, anyone that wants to come and to pray on the behalf of the city. We believe that a city that prays together stays together. And as we stay covered in prayer, the Lord has a way of blessing us beyond our wildest dreams. So I encourage you that if you're not doing anything in the morning at 9 a.m., if that you will meet us on the second floor, Church of the Highlands, is door number 3. If you come to the building, they have all of the doors numbered, but it will be door number 3. You'll come through that door and we'll be on the second floor having prayer there from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Also on October the 15th, we're having the second annual Yo Irondale Festival, or the Yo Amo Irondale Festival, where we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. We realize that we stay in a very diverse community. We want everyone to feel as if they are a part of the community. So we want to celebrate as many ethnic groups as we can when things are going on. We encourage you to put it on your calendar, October the 15th. There's going to be a mechanical bull, live music, dancing, authentic Mexican food trucks, popsicles, car and truck show, face painting, piñata games, fellowships with your neighbors, and you may also get an opportunity to see me ride the bull. And I'm not giving you a bunch of bull, but you get a chance to be able to see me ride the bull. It was very exciting last year. And the little kids were laughing at me as I was getting up off the tarp that was there because I think they sped it up on purpose to make the mayor look bad. Also, we want to, on October the 17th to the 21st, we have dedicated this as the Teacher Appreciation Week. So although we're doing things from the city, we also want citizens to find a way to be able to appreciate all of the teachers that are in the city of Irondale. Now, we know that JCA is not a part of the Jefferson County school system, But we're also asking you that if you can find an act of kindness to be able to share with them during that time, they really would appreciate it. Sometimes teaching is a thankless job, and we want to be able to celebrate them and just give our thanks to them, although they have another month that is separated from that as well. And also on October the 15th, we're having the Youth Mounties Homecoming, Saturday the 15th at 9 a.m., where we are celebrating the youth athletics that we revived in the city of Irondale. So we also ask for you all to come out and be a part of that. Last thing I want to say before I get ready to give out the proclamations, I want to thank everybody that came out to the 135th birthday celebration of the city of Irondale at Beacon Park on September the 25th. I believe that everyone enjoyed themselves. We had some top-notch artists that was there. We partied with a purpose, and we're going to do it again next year. We've also put a survey out there. So we want to be able to get feedback from you to know who you would like to see next year. I know two artists that I would love for us to be able to get here to the city would be Alabama Shakes with Brittany Howard, and also Jason Isbell, who is a country singer. We want to make sure that we have something here for everybody to be able to enjoy. I think we did it very well this year. Nobody knew that Ruben Studdard was going to be at the event to sing. And PMJ closing act was truly amazing to be able to hear him perform. And his father's church is 1 block away from City Hall. So he performed in our community before. He's doing what he's doing now. But wonderful event. We had a great time. I want to thank everybody that participated and volunteered to make it happen. Also, I want to thank Kim, my wife. I almost killed her during the whole process, but if you look on the front row, she's still alive. So we still made it through, and hopefully we'll make it through again on next year. But we just have creative differences, and sometimes we have philosophical differences, but we made it through. Great event. Hope you all enjoyed it. Please give us feedback on the survey to let us know how we can make it better, but also who would you like to see perform, and we'll try our best to go out and to bring them to the event. That concludes my announcements on paper. Now I get a chance to be able to celebrate some of the individuals that have really done some amazing things in the city of Irondale. First proclamation that I have is, I'm not presenting it to anyone, but we did want to be able to celebrate the National Hispanic Heritage Month. So I'm just going to read the proclamation that we have for that. And it says, whereas during the National Hispanic Heritage Month, we recognize that Hispanic heritage is an American heritage. We see it in every aspect of our lives, on television, on movie screens, in music that moves our feet, and in the foods we enjoy. And whereas the city of Irondale is home to a vibrant population as well as numerous successful Hispanic-owned businesses, and whereas we established the Yo Amo Irondale Festival as an annual celebration of Hispanic heritage and opportunity to bring neighbors together and building community, and whereas we honor and celebrate the contributions of Hispanics to our community, we also reaffirm our commitment to extend the hand of friendship to all citizens in the city of Irondale. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that I, James Douglas Stewart, Jr., Mayor of the city of Irondale, in the state of Alabama, issue this proclamation recognizing National Hispanic Heritage Month in the city of Irondale and celebrating our city's diversity as well as the contributions of the Hispanic culture to our community. In witness whereof, I have signed and sealed on the 5th day of October 2022. We want everybody to come out to be able to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. It's going to be right in front of City Hall. There's no excuse that you can't come. I know that there may be some Alabama fans out here. I know that there may be some Tennessee Volunteer fans out here. But to be able to solve that problem, we are going to have a big screen TV under a tent for you to be able to see the game. So there's no excuse that you shouldn't be at the event because you're trying to be at home for the third Saturday in the fall when Alabama and Tennessee always plays each other. Second one is for, I'm gonna ask Ms. Green to come to the front. Ms. Green had reached out to me I think it was a couple of months ago, but also I saw you at the event that you had in West State. And you had a march for individuals that have alopecia. And it was very inspiring to me when I saw that, as well as when you had reached out to me to say if there's anything that we could do here in the city of Irondale. So I wanted to be able to recognize those individuals that have this autoimmune skin disease, and just let you know that we're here to help. We're here to love, and we want to be a community that celebrates everyone. So I'll go ahead and read this proclamation. I'll give you a few minutes if you want to be able to say something. And this proclamation reads, whereas alopecia is an autoimmune skin disease resulting in the loss of hair on the scalp and elsewhere on the body, and whereas alopecia affects approximately 2% of the population overall, including more than 6.8 million people in the United States alone, and whereas alopecia in males and females of all ages and races, with onset most often being in childhood, and whereas the National Alopecia Foundation is dedicated to providing educational information, creating awareness and raising funds to advance the research of treatments, and whereas the local chapter of the Alopecia Foundation also is dedicated to educating the community through its campaign, Don't Stare, Just Ask. #Alopecia. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that I, James Douglas Stewart Jr., Mayor of the City of Irondale in the state of Alabama, issue this proclamation recognizing 2022. Ms. Green, can you help me? I've skipped this word like 5 times because nobody told me what it was. So can you tell me what it is? Arietta. Alopecia Areata Awareness Month in the city of Irondale to create awareness and support the initiatives of medical and scientific research to find better treatments and possible one day a cure. In witness whereof I signed and sealed on the 5th day of October 2022. Is there anything you'd like to say? Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Again, my name is Sandy Green, and I've been dealing with alopecia for over 22 years. And it started off with tingling in the top of my head, and it went from a tingle to now I'm bald. I shaved my head in May. The little hair that I had left, I was embarrassed. I was scared of what people would think of me at first. But once I know God was on my side, nothing else mattered. And from that point on, God opened up doors for me. I had an alopecia walk on September the 17th. My first one, it was almost 200 people showed up. And I give all praise to God because I know I couldn't have done it myself. And I want to thank the mayor for reaching out to me. It meant a lot. It really meant a lot when a mayor call you and want to give you a proclamation. That means you're doing something good. And I want to thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And you said a lot of things up here about the events. And me and my sister will be coming to some of them.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Brett Doss, Charles Holiday, David Brasher, Kenton Kennedy, Kelly Womack, and Greg Cochran. You all thought you was gonna have to sit here and go through all those proclamations there, but This proclamation was created to be able to celebrate National Fire Prevention Month. I know Lieutenant Brasher has been doing it for over 18 years. He's been here at the city of Irondale. And as he shared with me last night, he can really see a change and to see the city of Irondale evolving. I think I know something special about each one of them. So I'm just going to say what I know about them that's special, and then I'll read the proclamation. Lieutenant Holliday was really instrumental in the employees receiving the raise that they received this year, because he called me on the carpet last year when I gave a 3% increase, and he asked me, Mayor, did you really read the CPI Urban Index? Because it seemed like you were off by 3%. I really didn't like the correction, but because he pointed it out to me, he doesn't know it, but he played an important role in me recommending the 14% and the 9%. So I just wanted to be able to thank you for that. And also I got a chance to celebrate his award that he received from the Personnel Board last Friday. Lieutenant Brasher, he's the educational expert here at the city. He's taught at the high school when we had the fire academy that was there. Last year, he took me up in the fire ladder truck, 98 feet off the ground, and had me screaming like a, I'm not gonna say what I was screaming like, but but he went up with me as if it was nothing to it. And also one of the things that you all may not know about him is that he specializes in honey. So he has bees that he keeps and he sells honey. So you all make sure that you all support him. Brad Dawes, been here in the city all his life, about 30 years. If you want to know somebody that's very meticulous, that will follow the rules to the T, regardless of who you are. He loves the city. I can call him at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night and have a conversation with him about things that are going on in the city. And if you want to know anything about the Zamora Temple, it now belongs to Brad Dawes, and we're thinking about renaming it the Brad Dawes Municipal Complex, because when people call me to ask me about what's going at the Zamora, I said, don't ask me, ask Brad. So that's Brad Dawes, our assistant fire chief. So our other side, we have Miss Kelly Womack. Kelly, I'm not gonna say anything real bad about you. The only thing that I want to say about Kelly is when I became the city clerk, Kelly was a gardener. She was a gardener for the city. And if you know anything about working in public works, that's very hard work, you know, to be able to do that. And she and I was having a conversation because she always would keep the hedges well cut. And I even asked her one day if I could take her home with me on a weekend to be able to do the same thing. But Kelly was tired of being out there in the field. So Mayor Alexander and myself found a way to be able to bring her into the permit office and also to help her to be able to get her certification so that she could be on the list to be in that position. So Kelly Womack is the administrative side of the inspection department. She's the one, if you know anything about women, they keep everything running. Then we have Greg Cochran. Greg's been with us for about 3 years. The only thing that I want to say about Greg is when I'm having tough days, he'll call me. He'll call me. He'll check on me. He'll call me with no agenda. He'll call me to see if he can pray for me. he'll call me just because this week he called me because I was out of town last week. So Greg is, I trust him with my life. And he's probably been more of a friend than he's been an inspector. Now, I'm not saying he hadn't done his job, but he does his job well. And Greg, I just really love you, the way that you call and check on me and see how things are going. Greg used to be a builder before he came here to the city as well. So he's been able to use that expertise here. So you can see that I really love the people that, that I've been entrusted with. And so Greg, I just wanted to give you that while you're here. His wife is here, Stephanie. She's very sweet, and they're always thinking about me and praying for me. And then I want to finish it up with the last one, which is Kenton. Kenton and our relationship is, Kenton has been with the city less than a year. And Kenton just had his second child. So I joke with him every day because when Kenton hits the clock at 4:30, he's headed home. So I always joke with him and say, hey, Kenton, you want to go out to dinner today? And he'll say, Mayor, I can't go out to dinner. I got to go home. And I said, well, you don't have to go home. I said, you're still in your probationary period. I said, so you really can go to dinner with the mayor. And he said, well, Mayor, I'm sorry, but I serve a higher power than you. And he said, that's my wife. So I always joke about Kenton with that. He comes from the LDOT, and his specialty was dealing with the roads. So we're really here to happy to have them here. So if you have anything that's going on in the inspections department, you can take it up with everybody except for Lieutenant Brasher, but the other 5, they're the ones who do it. And then Josh McDaniel, who is the fire chief, is responsible for all those 5 individuals. So I'll go ahead and read their proclamation. Oh, I didn't think that I was going to cry just talking about a couple of individuals. So here we go. Whereas the month of October is the National Fire Prevention Month, and this year's theme is Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape. And whereas the city of Irondale takes pride in having an outstanding fire department that serves for our community in both emergent and non-emergent situations, helping to educate citizens on fire safety and prevention, providing exceptional medical care, as well as fire and rescue services. Whereas our city inspection department works diligently to ensure that structures are safe and code compliant, thus protecting all of our citizens. And whereas we wish to encourage our residents and businesses to review their fire escape plans, check your smoke detectors, and practice fire drills regularly. Whereas during the National Fire Prevention Month, we also want to recognize certain individuals who go above and beyond performing their jobs to ensure life safety for the citizens of Irondale. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, James Douglas Stewart Jr., Mayor of the City of Irondale, in the state of Alabama, issue this proclamation recognizing everybody that's up here for his and her contributions to protecting and serving citizens in the city of Irondale. In witness thereof, I sign and seal on the 5th day of October, 2022. Well, Motley Crue.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Here, Jason's come and do police. And we're also going to, there were some promotions that took place in the the police department as well. So we wanted to make sure that I hope that you all don't have anywhere to go tonight, but we just want to be able to honor them and thank them for the job that they do. Yes, we pay them well. Yes, we pay them every 2 weeks very well. But I think sometimes it's not really about the money, but it's about the environment that you can create for the people that are working in the city. And we want to make sure that we recognize them. At one time, Irondale was a training ground for other individuals to come to work in the police department, to work in the fire department. And then they would, once they got all their certifications and everything in place, they would leave to go to another place. But now, since we are the second highest paid public safety division, with fire being number one, until all the other municipalities got jealous and started to raise the rates for their employees as well, I'm calling those mayors, or I'm calling those other cities and asking their employees to send me a thank you note. Because as soon as we raised the rates for our employees, and I'm not lying, you can ask Police Chief Wiggins, you can ask Fire Chief McDaniel, that other cities started calling them that night, wanted to know if the mayor in the city of Irondale had lost his mind. But I didn't lose my mind. I just want to make sure that everybody is fairly compensated for the work that they do, and that they will stay here in the city of Irondale for a long time. Jason, if you want to come to the front.
If you don't mind, I'd like to thank the mayor and council for last night's support. Last night we had a great event, National Night Out. It was tremendous. It was great. I just want to thank the mayor and council for the support. What we want to do is just recognize the recent reassignments and positions, and also some promotions. First, I'll call Lieutenant Hill, Jason Hill. Lieutenant Hill started with Irondale in June of '04 after beginning his law enforcement career in Birmingham. He served patrol several years, and then was assigned to investigations, where he was promoted to sergeant. After several years of investigations, Sergeant Hill was assigned to patrol sergeant, working night shift before moving to day shift. He's recently been promoted to lieutenant, and he's over the patrol division. He also served on our tactical team.
And he's also a dancer. And the MC, I learned last night. So if you all want to see somebody cut a rug and get jiggy with it, he's the one that you want to have at your event.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sergeant Michael Flippo. Sergeant Flippo began working in Irondale in November of '97. He previously worked at Lipscomb.
I was a kid.
While in Irondale, he served as firearms instructor, and he also was an explorer advisor for us. He worked patrol, then assigned investigations, where he was recently promoted to to investigative sergeant over investigations.
Okay. One unique thing about Officer Flippo is he flies airplanes. He's certified to fly planes, and he's also a musician. Flippo.
Next up, Sergeant Rodriguez. Sergeant Rodriguez began his career in Irondale in August of '11. He previously served with Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. He has served as an evidence technician and as a corporal in patrol. Sergeant Rodriguez is our sergeant over night alpha shift.
Okay. Thing about Officer Rodriguez, I think he should be a comedian, because he's always making me laugh and telling jokes and stuff like that. And a lot of times he's here when we're having courts to make sure people don't misbehave.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Corporal Otto Dalkey. Otto began his career in Irondale. He actually sent to the academy, and post-academy, he served on night alpha shield and done a great job in learning. And it takes to be a good police officer, and has recently been recognized by other supervisors and have been assigned as a corporal, and he is on day alpha corporal.
Okay. The thing I like to say about Otto, and I think I'm right, when he first came in, he was on the night shift. And my mother-in-law was leaving our house and backed into the back of my car, and he'd come out and write a police report.
All right. The next couple are reassignments from patrol division. But Officer Jason Lawley began his career in Birmingham, then came to Irondale after retirement. He served in patrol and a member of our tactical team. He's currently assigned to code enforcement investigations, and he also assists our investigators as needed.
One of the things that I like about Officer Lawley is that he's real laid back and he's cool, and he doesn't seem that anything seems to get to him. And he's been doing a magnificent job in inspections. It's funny how people respond to a police officer when they come and tell you need to cut your grass versus somebody that doesn't have a gun in a uniform.
Mike Hubbard's not here tonight. Madison Tyler. Madison began her career in Irondale, and I'll never forget, she called me like 5 times for like 6 weeks, just constantly, hey, what's Irondale? Iron. Asking questions. So she's asking a lot of questions, which is good. But we, post academy, she started in August of 19. She worked night shift under Sergeant Tolliver, and she has become our first female investigator.
Jason actually took my one thing that I was going to say about Madison is that she is the first female detective that we have here in the city of Irondale. And we now have how many females, Jason? So I want to thank Police Chief Wiggins, because one of the things he wanted to do when he became the police chief, he wanted a police force that was a reflection of the city of Irondale. So he was committed to making sure that the city had females on the staff. And I want to commend him for hiring Madison. And Madison may be small, but I heard she packs a powerful punch.
Officer Polly began his career in Irondale in December of, what was it, 05? Okay. February of 5, that's right. All right. He has worked as an evidence technician and will be assigned to code enforcement along with Officer Lawley in December. And he's moving there then.
Well, for Officer Pauly, one of the things about him, I just never see him smile. He just, I was, matter of fact, Officer Pauly, I was talking to Officer Lawley about you as you moved into this. He didn't say anything bad. I said, but he never smiles. He's always just straight faced. Even when he speak to me, it's just, hey, Mayor, and he keeps on moving. And they told me he's just designed that way. So I accept your design that you're just a silent person and you don't like to say a lot. See, then he won't say anything.
Sean Rankin. Sean retired from Homewood, and then went to work for Birmingham, retired again. He actually lives in Irondale and just loves law enforcement so much. We have brought him in to help us with our shortages, and he's a part-time officer for us. He lives in Irondale.
Well, the reason I love Sean is because when we went to the World Games, we had parked about a mile away from getting into the stadium, and he saw my family and I walking towards the gate, and he was in one of those little gators. And he told the lady that was working there with him, he said, "There go my mayor." And I'm gonna pick up my mayor. And we were so happy that he picked us up, weaved us through the crowd, dropped us off, right at the gate. But one of the things I really want to say about Sean is that Sean has done he's done his due. He's put his time in, but he loves his city. He wanted to be a part-time officer here at the city of Irondale. And when Officer Wiggins, or Police Chief Wiggins, brought it to me, I did not hesitate for him to go ahead and to approve for Sean to be a part-time officer here at the city of Irondale. And we're glad to have you on board.
Here, Diamond Denson. She just started. Today was her first day, and she's our 6th female. So I guess she left. But she started in in Junction City, Kansas. Her husband's in the military. He was based there, and they came back home. And now she's coming to work for us. She'll do a lateral training academy and hopefully be on the streets late January.
And Officer Hubbard is not here, but Officer Hubbard will be working as the business license code enforcer. So now we are making sure that everybody pays their business license fee, and we're sending out a police officer to make sure that it gets done. I don't know if he knows this yet, but I told the police chief, make sure you tell Officer Hubbard that I have 4 revenue classes that he will be attending across the state of Alabama, so he'll be well educated when he goes out and to enforce individuals to pay for their business license. But these are just the great, I want you all to see the people that work for you. I want you to know who these individuals are. And we have a bunch of great people here at the city of Irondale. And I can't do what I do if it wasn't for all the great men and women that the Lord has blessed me with.
You may have to get some people to come to the front.
I thank you all for being tolerant and patient with me to make those presentations. I think either at the next council meeting we have some. We're going to celebrate the Shades Valley girls volleyball team who won their district on the next council meeting. So we'll make sure that at every council meeting we try to. I'll also invite a business to come in to be able to tell everybody what their business do. And it will be a business that you don't have a clue about what they're doing. But at the end of the day, it may be a lot of time that's been taken on the front of the meeting. But I think you should be well informed about what's going on in your community and how your city actually works. And thank you all for allowing me to be able to do that tonight. Through, Council President.
Thanks, sir. Got you. At this time, we look for any reports from any department heads this evening. Any reports from any department heads? All right, fair enough. As far as our council member reports, I'll go ahead and get started with that. I did want to comment on the 135th birthday party. I considered it extremely well done. Had a ton of fun. School night, so I couldn't stay out a whole lot, but I enjoyed seeing people coming out and enjoying that. Once again, very well done. I was not able to make the Whistle Stop Festival, but I saw the pictures online. Looked like a lot of fun. So I'm just glad to see that at its home base. And then last night, as the mayor mentioned, we had National Night Out. So I just want to thank everybody that was involved. We had the cows from Chick-fil-A out there. We had JCA out there, the firefighters, the police department. We had Heidi's Kids out there. There's several organizations that I'm sure I'm not mentioning at this time, but everybody did a great job. My girls were wanting to stay at home, and I was like, no, we got to go down there for a short bit. And my big girl was like, I'm not going to have any fun. I was like, well, I'll pay you $5 if you don't see a single kid. And she went down there, and we wound up staying for an hour and a half. So I mean, had to drag them out of the house, but when they were there, I had a ton of fun. So I just want to, it's a great annual event and great opportunity for our community to meet our first responders. So I was just thrilled about it. So just a lot of great things happening in the city, and I just want to thank all involved for it. Councilman Sims, your report, sir.
Thank you everyone for being here tonight. I echo what Councilor Spivey said about the 3 events we've had the last, feels like 6 days, but I guess a week and a half or so. Great turnout to everything. Enjoyed them and looking forward to the next community event that we have, whatever that is. Holiday Gardens Neighborhood Association will be 6:30 next Tuesday at the Senior Activity Center, and that's all I have.
Perfect. Councilman Box?
Ditto. Congratulations on the National Night Out. I think that was probably our biggest turnout for a National Night Out, wasn't it, Mayor? It was really good. And also on Whistle Stop and the 135th celebration, all those things they were saying. I'd like to also commend someone that doesn't get mentioned very much, but Ms. Freeman at the Senior Activity Center does a good job for us up there volunteering, and we have a lot of good things going up there. And so with that said, I'll move it on to Councilwoman.
Councilwoman Quayer?
Yes, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. First thing is the serious things. The city council is working on an ordinance to regulate fireworks in the city of Irondale. And Emma Tolbert has developed a survey to enable us to get input from our Irondale residents. The survey is on the city's, or will be on the city's website, I think starting tomorrow. And it's currently on the city's Facebook page, and some council members may have it on their district Facebook page as well. The deadline to complete this survey is Thursday, October 13th. Your feedback is extremely important to us, so please know that we look forward to hearing from you. A special thank you to Emma Tolbert and our city clerk, Lee Allison, for the work they did to make this survey possible. Great job. Thank you. Number two, I'd also like to thank Police Chief Wiggins and our police department, as well as our fire department, for all that they did to make the police department's National Night Out a successful one. The weather was perfect, and many families and their children came out to meet, to get to know, and to even dance with our police officers. I won't tell you his name, but his initials are Lieutenant Jason Hill. And also to support our first responders. And finally, I also attended Irondale's Music Festival, celebrating our 135th birthday anniversary this past September 25th. And I also attended the Whistle Stop Festival this past Saturday. And I want to thank everyone involved for all the work that they did to making both events a fun and enjoyable time for everyone that attended. You did a great job. That's all I have to report.
Did you want to mention the October 11th meeting, the economic development?
Yes, it is posted already. We have an economic development strategic planning committee meeting. The city will be discussing, and our mayor will also be giving us some of his ideas. That will be on October the 11th here at City Hall at 5 p.m. And everyone who would like to attend, you're welcome to come and hear what our city's discussions and what we plan to do as far as economic development. Thank you, David.
Thank you. Councilman London?
Good evening, everyone. All right, good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. First of all, thank you for being here tonight. Just one announcement. Kids Spark are having their annual event, empowering students and parents, is Saturday, October the 15th at the Boutwell Auditorium. And it's free to any middle school students or high school student and their parents. They'll come together. And here's three things that they're trying to do this year. One is how to help your child succeed in school. One of the discussions that we'll be talking about, how to help your child prepare for college or the workplace, and then how to be your child best advocate. And if you want this information, it's on my Facebook page, but here's the phone number, 205-960-1428. If you have a child in Irondale middle school or high school, this is a free event, and registration will take place. You can do it online at www.kidsparkalabama.com, or you can call that number, 205-960-1428. Great event for kids. I've been a sponsor since I've been on council for the past 12 years, and it's a great event. And so we're looking forward to seeing what we can do to help our young folks be better students, be better citizens, and hopefully be better mayors and council one day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're going to take a step back and revisit department head reports. Chief McDaniel, I believe you had something to comment on tonight.
I guess I got a little excited about the proclamations and I forgot. Actually, the people that got proclamations tonight didn't know, and I told some of them that they were going to talk about fire safety since it was fire prevention. And Brasher's got some, Lieutenant Brasher had some stuff together about some fire prevention. So I feel bad that he put the work in to get something to report tonight and he didn't have anything to report. So I wanted to let him get to talk about that and what's going on and what he's got going on this month.
Thank you, sir. Please.
Good evening, and it was a surprise. I had no clue till I saw my wife. That I was like, "What's going on?" So, did a little bit of work, and as the mayor said, I have been here over 18 years doing fire prevention, and I have a passion for education. I feel like we should invest in the kids and so forth. So I won't take too much of your time. I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I've got going for this month, because this month marks 100 years for fire prevention. This is the 100th year anniversary. So it's a really big deal for us to get out and talk to the kids. Not only the kids, I'm involved in communities and HOAs, apartment complexes, and anything that needs fire safety. So this month is already packed. I think I got 2 days out of the month that's not scheduled for some event that's taking place here in the city. So real quick, I've got Abington that's coming up. It's got 55 residents. We're going to be doing a fire extinguisher class for that. I'm still working with the health science class with the students to actually go to Grantswood community to do health screening so they can actually get hands-on real-world training. So I'm in the process of getting that through Jefferson County and make sure they can do that on a field trip. And then as well with Grantswood community, looking at working with the leaders and the principal there for a leadership group for the fifth graders, because I think the fifth graders need that encouragement and give them a sense of responsibility. And it's going to be sort of like a safety patrol, and it's going to be called Grantswood Gatekeepers. So that's going to be something for fifth graders to kind of get involved and start, a responsible task so that can carry on through middle school. The last thing between the whistle stop and the National Night Out, which last night was awesome. The community coming in together and everybody kind of knows everyone and they talk. It's just, I couldn't ask for a better place for myself. I'll see myself retiring from here. I have no intentions to go anywhere because I think this is the best place that anybody could possibly work for. And I want to say thank you to y'all because y'all make that for all of us. And I think I speak on behalf of the fire department in general. Just roughly, I'm a numbers guy. I like keeping up with what I do and what I give out. So hats, the little plastic hats, I gave over 300 out, 400 brochures, 250 stickers, and I had 11 families sign up for smoke detector installation, which is roughly it's going to be about 35 to 36 smoke detectors for those 11 families. And that's something else for y'all and who's watching on Facebook. We do offer the smoke detector program. All you have to do is reach out to Station 3. We'll get you signed up. We'll get your smoke detectors installed for you. So there's no reason for you not to have smoke detectors. We've got them. We're ready to go. I just need to know where to go. So if y'all know somebody that's in the city that needs that service, please let them know. Reach out to Station 3. And that's something that we're going to be doing. And my goal is to try to get every home here in the city covered with smoke detectors. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Rush.
We got 2 Brashers speaking in the community now, too.
Yes, I forgot to mention that we've been kind of dubbed as the dynamic duo. My wife just started Grantswood Elementary as the reading specialist or the reading coach. So she's there at Grantswood doing that, and then I'm also in the school, so they kind of dubbed us as the dynamic duo. So, yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chief. All right. At this time, we would look for any reports from any boards or non-council committees. Any boards or non-council committees this evening? All right. Fair enough. We do not have any public hearings on the docket today, so we will begin the council deliberation on agenda items only. First item up would be Resolution 2022 R185 that approves the 2023 holiday schedule for the city employees. Councilman London, any questions on this?
No question, sir.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Only question I had was the Christmas Day, the day after on Tuesday, the 26th. and Mayor Stewart, you can help me with this one because I thought that by law, we have to pick up garbage weekly, and we have garbage collections on Tuesday and Wednesday right now. So would that mean that the Wednesday, or excuse me, the Tuesday pickup, we have them on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Does that mean that the Tuesday residents that have their garbage picked up on Tuesdays, will they not have their garbage picked up? No, it's Tuesday, December 26th. Monday. Okay, thank you. That's where I was confused. All right, so Christmas Day, the day after, that should say Monday, December 26th. Okay, thank you.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Thank you. Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions on that. Thank you for the clarification, Councilwoman Queer.
You're welcome.
Stay on consent, exactly. Everybody agrees? Okay. Item number 2, Resolution 2022 R186 increases the city portion of the local government health insurance premium for the City of Irondale employees by 7% from the amount currently paid. Mayor, can you take us through that a little bit?
Yes, we received a rate schedule from the LGIP, who provides health insurance to the city's citizens, the employees here at the City of Irondale. The increase was 6.4% in the premium for the employees, so we rounded up to 7. And the reason behind this is that we had just given the employees a pay increase, and then to turn around and to have them to pay that in insurance premiums to me kind of defeat the purpose. So that's why we're recommending that we increase the city's portion by 7% to be able to cover that increase.
Copy. Thank you. Councilman London, any questions?
No, sir.
Councilwoman Quayle?
Yeah, only thing is, how much are we currently paying now?
Pay 80% of the premium for all employees. We increase it by 7%. It goes to where the city will pay 87% and the employees will pay 13% of their health insurance.
All right, and how much more will this cost us?
It will cost 1% per million. No, it's 1%. No, it's 7% times the 1 million that the city currently pays for health insurance premium for the employees. So that equals $70,000.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Box, any questions?
Well, I guess I'm looking at it from a little bit different perspective. If we're paying 80% and our rate increase is going to theoretically go up dollar-wise, then if we didn't improve the 7%, then we would actually be going down in the percentage we're paying. So I think the 7% is more than a good thing. It still keeps us at quote unquote 80%. Now, correct me if I'm wrong there, Mayor, but we're still paying 80% of the overall what the rate increase is going to be.
No, we would be paying 87%.
Okay, so we're not just covering the decrease, we're going a little bit more.
Well,
We're going
the
more
increase is 6.4.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of rounding it down to 6, I just rounded it up to 7.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I looked at it a little different. I thought that we would still be paying, we're going to give the 7%, but we're not actually paying 87%. We're just still maintaining 80% because of the increase in premium.
We will pay an
No.
additional $70,000
Thank
out
you,
of the $28 million budget.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Sims?
My question got answered, so I'm good.
And my question got answered as well. Thank you. Do we agree to keep this on consent or no?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Item number 3, resolve that resolution 2022 R187 authorizes the allocation of public funds to AT&T Alabama Pioneers, an employee volunteer organization of AT&T, in the amount of $1,000 from the 2022-2023 fiscal year discretionary fund of Councilor John London to be used for the Kids Spark 10th anniversary to be held on October 15th, 2022 2022 in the Boutwell Auditorium, and that presents an opportunity for students in middle school and high school to come together with their parents and guardians to explore the future and plans for success. Councilman London, I know you spoke briefly on that. Is there anything you would like to expand on?
Oh, no expansion.
Okay. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions?
No questions.
Councilman Box? Councilman Sims?
None.
And myself, I'm good as well. We agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 4, resolve that resolution 2022 R188 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. to execute an agreement for the purchase of property located at 1080 Grants Mill Road, Irondale, Alabama, for the price of $1 million for the construction of a new location for the Irondale Public Library. Is there anything you care to speak on with this?
Yes, I would like to speak to at least 3 things concerning this purchase. Number one, people want to know why we're paying $1 million. The reason that we're paying $1 million because we had an evaluation that was done by a reputable real estate company to determine the fair value of what the property would cost. The property would list at 1.3 if it was being sold, but wholesale, the high end was somewhere between $950,000 to $1 million. So I want to say that first to let people know that we didn't just pull $1 million out of the hat. It has nothing to do with what somebody paid for something 5 years ago, because we're dealing with today dollars. And we've also had a professional to be able to do that evaluation, to be able to give us that number. The second thing is, I've heard that it's a lake, it was the capture runoff, water, everything was thrown into there and you won't be able to build on it. But all of these people that are speaking to that, I don't believe any of them have PE behind their name, which means that they are a professional engineer that can make that determination. We also had what is called an environmental study and a phase 1 study that was done, again, by a reputable engineering company, although it was done in 2017 to tell us exactly what the soil looks like. We're also doing this due diligence period that we have, because this is not where the city is automatically going to purchase this property. We have a due diligence period for 60 days and at least 90 days to close. So we will do our due diligence by having another phase 1, and we'll also have another environmental study done to determine the condition of the soil and what we can and what we can't do with the piece of property. And the third thing has been, well, why don't we just allow for it to stay where it is? Well, if you know where the library currently resides, you don't really have a lot of space for parking if you were getting ready to develop another building. And if we decided to go up a floor, you still would have to tear it down, but you're limited in the amount of space that you have for parking. And I guess I have one more thing. I thought the city was going to redevelop downtown. The city is trying to redevelop downtown. If anybody followed Blueprint Irondale, or if anybody's heard me speak over the last 2 years, we've talked about getting out of these buildings down here from City Hall. And I'm talking about myself. I'm not saying that the council has said this. I'm just saying what James Douglas Stewart Jr. has said over the last 23 months, is that we would move City Hall, we would build a new library, and we would move Public Works out of its current location and redevelop this whole area where it would be similar to Soho in Homewood, where you can have coffee shops, bookstores, you can have mixed use. It would become a mixed use development if we could develop this whole corner. So I just wanted to speak to those things and to let everybody know that we didn't just jump up and all of a sudden to be able to do that. And also, if you want the real facts about what's going on at City Hall, I encourage everybody to call 205-951-1413. And you can get whatever information you need. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman London?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yeah, I had some questions.
And that was a geotech report, y'all. I'm sorry, phase 1 in a geotech report.
Finding my questions. Go ahead and ask yours.
Councilman Box?
No, the mayor covered it. The geotech report was the main thing I was concerned about. So that pretty much answered everything I had.
Councilman Sims?
Couple questions. So was the geotech the one that got done several years ago? Or is that we're going to have one done in 60 days?
It was one that was done in 2017, but we're also going to have another one done that is current.
And with plenty of time in 60 days?
Yes, 60 days to be able to do it.
The second one is, I think, more for our agent. Is there a reason we're not getting a general warranty deed versus statutory?
That is something that is, that I generally find to be true, such that they're warranting for the period that they own only. And so that's what we generally see now.
Okay. I think that does it. Yep, I'm good.
Okay. And I don't have any questions at this time, so I'll return it back to Councilwoman Cuellar.
Think of. First, I'd like to thank those involved in the effort to acquire the land for the purpose of, building a library. And I mentioned this, talked about this with our city attorney, but for the benefit of everyone here, one of the questions that I did ask was, is it possible, in looking over the commercial sales agreement, to change the buyer's inspection period, the buyer being the city, from 60 days to 90 days to give us plenty of time for due diligence? And I'll let our city attorney comment on that, because I didn't write it down exactly. So if you can please comment on that, April, I'd appreciate that.
And I'll actually default to Bo Grisham, who has, talked to the seller. And it is my understanding that the seller would like to close by 12/31. And that is something that's very important to him. And so therefore, that is where the 60-day window, comes in. It's because that is the time frame that would actually work, such that we could be able to close this by 12/30.
Okay. And as part of the due diligence, I would like updates on our investigation and test, including, it was mentioned that we'd follow through with another environmental study, as well as the phase 1 study. I'd like updates on that, on this property. Also, I'd like estimates of the total cost for making this property site ready. That's important that we have this information before we go on to decide to close on a sale, if that's what we intend to do. Some updates on who's going to be overseeing any work if we decide to go that route, on the total cost to make it site ready, and where we intend to build the site, because we're talking about 9.2 acres. Where do we intend to build it? And also would like to know what the land was formerly used for. Those are my comments. I'd like updates on all of that.
Well, all of that will come from me, not from looking out there at
Okay.
Bo
Well,
in the
we've
audience.
got 60 days, and during that time, I would like updates, continual updates, and not just all of a sudden we're hit with the end of the sales contract period and we have to make a decision. I'd like to have these updates as we're moving through this deliberation.
Yes. Well, like I said, that's my responsibility, to be able to inform the council about what's going on. And I truly believe that there's nothing that I would hide from you all or not inform you all about. That's why we have so many executive sessions, so that you know exactly what's going on. Just like we have in one tonight. We have no problem. If you want to read the engineering report or the geotech report or any of those things. We'll provide you with that information. So I don't want people to think that we're trying to hide the information and not provide it so that we can go and make a decision, because I hadn't done that in the 23 months that I've been here.
Well, this is a council meeting. We've received, I know I could speak for myself, I've received several calls from people, and we've received some emails. And so this is why I'm making these comments, so that we can make these and keep everyone updated. So not just the council, but it's our community as well. And one of the things that I also asked about was, in our executive session, we were given a report, the evaluation study that was conducted. If we can have those reports now, we had to give them back to you, Bo. If you could kindly give us those reports back so that we have them. Thank you.
Councilman Sims, you
I've
motion
got one
to.
question for the city attorney. For the inspection period, it says 60 days from the effective date, which would be the date the mayor signs, correct? And then for closing date, it says 30 days from agreement. Shouldn't that say 30 days from the end of the inspection period or due diligence period? Since the closing should not be 30 days prior to due diligence is over. Paragraph 9. My day job leaking
But you
over.
could also say
Or,
that was
yes.
the easiest thing,
Mhm.
just so that it's abundant. So if, if you all make a motion, you could put that in there, that be
Just
amended
31st
to
of
say-
December.
Right, 12/31.
Thank you.
All right, do we agree to keep this on consent? Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, it's as long as we're getting the things that I've requested, I'm good with it.
Okay. Councilman Box?
Yeah, with the amendments.
Councilman Sims? Okay.
Yes, with the closing date as December 31st specified
Copy. Okay.
on or before.
Item number 5, resolve that resolution 2022 R189 amends resolution 2022 R167 to modify the purchase price of 2 Ford Transit vans for the Senior Activity Center from an amount not to exceed $57,505 for each van to amount not to exceed $59,675 for each van. And from what I understand on this, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is just everything that we've seen manifesting in the automobile industry with prices going up. Would you agree with that, Mayor?
Yes, and also the year of the vehicle changed from a 22 to a 23.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Councilman London, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
So quick.
Councilman Sims?
None.
And myself, none. Do we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 6, resolve that resolution 2022 R190 declares a weed and other vegetation nuisance for the property located at 775 Abigail Lane, Irondale, Alabama 35210, and orders its abatement. Councilman London, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions?
No questions. I just want to thank our abatement board for their diligence in getting this done, as well as our building inspectors and our law enforcement, ordinance enforcement officer. Thank you so much, Officer Lawley, for keeping up with this. You make our work a lot easier. We have all the information we need, so thank you for doing that.
Councilman Box?
No question. Just a quick comment. I'm glad to see this. I love seeing our city get cleaned up. The mayor has really put some stuff into effect here and then given us the tools for our inspectors to go out. So when you guys see things out there you think need addressed, give someone a call and let us know, and we'll get these guys out there to see what we can do about it. But on the other hand, if you need some help, if you have a property that's getting a little unruly and out of control, give someone a call as well. We can reach out to some of the local benevolent places to see if they can't help too. Thank you.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions as well. Also, do we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
Okay. All right, as far as the regular agenda is concerned, ordain that ordinance 2022-24 amends ordinance 2007-47 to modify the business license issuance fee to $14 beginning January the 1st, 2023. Councilman London, any questions on
No
this?
question. No, sir.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box? Councilman Sims?
None.
And myself, no questions. This is an ordinance, so it will need to go through the process.
If I can just make one comment for the benefit of everyone here. Currently, it's $10. It's increased by $4, so that you have that information.
Thank you,
Council
ma'am.
President, can I speak to that?
Please.
The current rate is $12 and it's going up to $14.
Copy. Thank you for the clarification.
All right, our ordinance site, our muni code is outdated because it said 10, so my apologies for giving you that information. I went to the muni code to look into it.
Thank you all. Item number 2 under regular business, ordain that ordinance 2022-25 regulates all short-term rentals within the city of Irondale and repeals all ordinances of the city in conflict therewith. Councilman London, any questions on this?
No question.
Okay. Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
Floor is yours, sir.
So, I don't know where to start. I would like to propose that we take our existing ordinance and create a short-term rental 2.0 ordinance and improve on what we have versus outright banning them. Listening to people the last several months, I think it's been maybe 6 months since we passed the original ordinance, possibly give or take. A lot of the issues seem to be people not abiding by the ordinance, breaking the rules. And so I'd like to make the consequences of not abiding by the rules harsher. The people that have a permit and have been doing things the way they're supposed to, I don't think we should punish them. So I propose that we, increase the fee a little bit to make sure we can enforce the rules. Let's see, just, I guess the existing ordinance, basically, any property owner can do it. My proposal is that any property owner can operate one. You'll need a permit and business license for each location you might want to operate. It specifies that state and local taxes will be paid. That's that thing. The penalty, let's see, if you get 2 valid substantiated complaints within a 6-month period, then you can have your permit revoked, which is a lot stricter than we currently have it. Violation of penalties, you can get a fine of up to $500 per violation per day. So, I think we've had someone come to court, they got a fine of maybe $100. They make that in one night on a rental. If you're stroking a check for $500 a day, I think it's going to make people abide by the rules. If you just ban them, the same people who have not been abiding by the rules are going to continue to not abide by the rules. We're going to keep having to enforce. Complaints are still going to come in, and we're not going to have permit fees to help enforce it. I just feel like if we take what we have, build on it, allow it, make it a little bit more stricter, make the consequences a little bit more hefty of a fine, people will either get on board or write a big check, and then they'll get their license revoked if they don't.
Anything else you want to add to it, Aaron? You've got plenty of time.
I just don't want to punish the people who have been doing it the right way, abiding by the law that we created, and I don't feel like just banning them is the way to go. There's several laws in our city that people break. We don't ban. We don't just take away those. We enforce it. So I'm just asking, let's enforce what we have. Let's make it tougher. Let's put teeth in it, and let's see how it goes for the next 6 months.
Councilman London, feedback for Councilman Sims.
I don't, because I just got the amendments tonight. I didn't really have a chance to look at it. But I do need to skip out. I had a previous engagement since you moved the meeting.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ease out. I hate I'm gonna miss the meeting tonight, but could you fill me in? Fill me in what's going on tonight.
Okay.
But I don't have any comments because I I just got the amendment tonight. So.
Basically, I think what Councilman Sims is proposing is we keep the current ordinance that we basically have in place, but we just increase the fines and things of that nature to take his words, put some teeth into the current ordinance that's in place.
Okay.
So what we talked about at the ordinance meeting was a little bit different, where it would be just banning short-term rentals. So basically, any rental could not be any less than 30 days. That's what we talked about at the ordinance meeting. Right. He's proposing to basically keep it the way it is, but increase the fines and penalties and things of that nature. Okay. So I don't know if you have any short thoughts on that before you head out, because I know you mentioned 7:30. So
I'm gonna be majority of the council, whatever council comes with.
Copy. Thank you, sir.
Just fill me in later.
Okay, copy. Thank you. Have a safe evening. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes. What I would like to say is that we have received several emails on this issue. We have expended a lot of resources to enforce the ordinance, from our enforcement officers to our building inspectors to our city clerk. And while it may be a small group of people that may be breaking the law, you have to look at balancing this out. And our residents are fed up, honestly, with having to keep up with all of this, is what they've told us. And one of the things that we do as a council is we listen to what our residents are telling us, and we work to find a way to solve this. And what we did is, we're not doing away with rentals, we're doing away with short-term rentals. So property owners will still have the ability to earn income if they want to choose to rent their properties for 30 days or more. And that's where I'm coming from. That's in listening to everyone, in listening to our city employees. That is why this ordinance, the original ordinance, was written the way that it is. And I intend to follow through, and I would like us to follow through with what we agreed on as a consensus at our ordinance committee meeting. Those are my comments.
Councilman Box?
I agree with Councilwoman Cuellar on the principle of what we looked at the ordinance committee meeting, but I do think Councilman Sims did have some objection there, so I'm not sure we had a full.
It was a consensus.
I agree. It was a consensus. I'm not sure we had a full 100% support. I do like some of his points that he's bringing up, but once again, I just think these are problems waiting to happen. Whether we modify and then try to evolve again later, or whether we actually just cut out short-term rentals altogether and go with the 30 days and allow people to get their business license, and then those houses become rental houses. So a lot of work needs to be done. I don't know that we're under the gun still to do something tonight. I know there's an expectation of that, and I hate to keep kicking cans down the road as the whole thing goes, but do we need to hear from citizens more citizens? Because I definitely see our group of people that were horribly affected by this that need some satisfaction. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm ready to move on something, but I do think Councilman Sims had some valid points. I will move with the body as well as far as this goes.
Copy. Parting shots, Councilman Sims?
I feel like if it is voted to do away with anything under 30 days, the random houses are going to pop up. They're going to be on Airbnb and VRBO, and we're going to deal with the same exact issues we're dealing with today. The people that are not abiding by the rules, we're going to still have to enforce the amount that we're enforcing, and everything's going to be exactly the same except for it's against the rules. I feel like making it not against the rules, allowing it, putting teeth in it, people will start abiding by the rules when they start standing right there talking to a magistrate, writing big checks that are more than they're making. And eventually they'll either get in line, or they'll have their permit revoked, or they'll write a big enough check to stop doing it. And we'll have a lot of people following the rules.
Fair enough. Are we prepared to vote on this item this evening? Councilwoman McQuarrie, are you prepared to
Yes,
vote on
I am.
this? Councilman Box, are you prepared to vote on this?
Yeah, I can vote.
Okay. Copying. Councilman Sims, are you prepared to put something on the floor tonight?
See what happens.
Okay. Fair enough. That being said, this is an ordinance, so it'll need to be introduced as such. All right. So at this point in time, rewind here. Figure this out. At this point, I would ask for an approval of the form of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the form of the agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed. Okay. Comments on agenda, consent. This time we would take public comments on agenda items only. Agenda items only. We just ask you speak from the microphone, give your name and address.
Good evening. I'm Marcia Kelly Sutton, 211 Candlelight Lane, Irondale, Alabama. The first agenda, the $14 license, and you might want to look at that. That's nonprofit. A business license in Irondale is not $14. It is not $12. Nonprofit business licenses, and I've been paying it for like the last 6 or 7 years, is $12. But now a real business, you're charged a certain amount per $1,000. So you might want to check it.
What we're changing is just the issuance fee. And if you're a nonprofit, you don't pay for a business license, you pay for the issuance fee only. So the issuance fee is going up for $12 to $14. So if you're a nonprofit, you'll just pay $14 for the issuance fee. You still won't have the other calculations that is done for an individual that is not a nonprofit that has to purchase a business license in the city of Irondale.
Thank you.
Any other comments on agenda items only?
Hey guys, Mary Beth Butts, 1506 Monticello Road. I just wanted to come to the council to say thank you for holding not only one, but 2 ordinance committee meetings to hear the thoughts of your citizens of the city. We appreciate the time that you guys took out of your schedules to come do that on an extra night. I ask that as you guys take a look at this short-term rental ordinance that's on the books tonight, on number 2 under new business, that you also consider the petition that's signed by over 200 of your citizens as well. I think everybody's voices need to be heard on all levels, level playing field, but I just wanted to bring that to the forefront, make sure everybody is aware of that, and remind you all, and also just say thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you guys openly and honestly over the last couple of ordinance council meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on agenda items only? I think she beat you to it.
Michael Ann Markowitz, 478 Cahab Landings Road. Agenda item 198, R198. I would encourage, when you're deciding whether to purchase the property on Grantsville Road for the library, to consider those who frequently use the library. You're changing the location from a walkability score very high. It serves the local neighborhood. It serves the elementary school. What a wonderful field trip. And now you're considering a location where everyone's going to have to drive. I love the coziness of the location. It may not be ideal for parking. It's beautifully situated near the police department. You can feel very safe coming here at all hours. Conversely, putting it in a location where you're going to have to assign patrol people, it's not that secure. That property has been vandalized over the years. We've seen the graffiti on that vacated house. So consider the people who patronize the library now. Get a sentiment from them of those who regularly use a library, how will this impact them? How will it impact the teachers at the elementary school that use this as a field trip? So just keep those factors in mind as you deliberate spending that much money for a property that nobody has wanted to buy. Or it would have sold by now. No one has wanted to buy it. Yes, it was purchased for over $600,000 in 2017. Property values have been artificially escalated. I wonder if this deadline for December is because we're anticipating property levels are going to start dropping. Keep that in mind too. But those are just some things to keep in mind as you guys are deliberating to purchase this property. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item only comments? This young lady was on her way up. Okay.
My name is Lisa Crampford, and I just want to speak on the short-term rental. I followed all the rules. I've got my business license. I did my fire escape plan. I got my permit even prior to the meeting. I've never had any problems from anybody and I've had probably over 500 people stay at my house. It's actually, I live upstairs and they stay downstairs in my very house. So I've never had any problems with anybody. It's my retirement. I'm a full-time school teacher, and I thank you for calling out school teachers. And it is, my retirement plan. So, just I've done everything right. So to be punished for this few things that happen, Aaron Sims is right. It's just, I know some of the people who didn't do what they were supposed to do, and they're just going to keep doing it, or they're going to find another way. There's always a way around it. So the better option is to increase the all the things that he said, hurt their pockets versus just banning it outright, because the people that come and stay with me, we're in this perfect location for traveling. Most of them are just traveling through, staying for the night on a very long trip, and they get to experience Irondale and a piece of Birmingham that brings them back. They're all excited about what they find here, and they want to come back to our city, and they spend money in your city. So just think a little bit about outright banning. I'm sorry for the people that were affected, but like Aaron said, if somebody wants to do something, they're going to do it, whether it's banned or not. They're just going to find a way around it. There's a whole bunch of different ways to get around it, unfortunately. So
Thank you.
that's my
Comments on agenda items only.
Mia Jeffries, 1901 4th Avenue South. So what are the changes on this new, where can we find them? Are there changes, or is that what we're still deliberating?
We're still deliberating on to change in the ordinance to eliminate all short-term rentals. The only rental that would be allowed would be 30 days plus.
So that's what this is changing. That's what was originally on the docket. Councilman Sims introduced an updated version of the current ordinance that's currently on the books. Okay. So nothing has
changed at this time.
Okay,
It's
so how
still
do we
the
get
original ordinance on the books.
Okay. I just want to say thank you, Aaron, for your comments. It's not easy to fight for your rights, especially when your rights go against the status quo. And
these are not only my rights, these are everybody's rights. So they're my property rights, they're everybody's property rights. So I'm not just fighting for my own rights, I'm fighting for everybody's rights. But it's obvious that the council has not taken our plea into consideration and still doesn't understand the magnitude of their lawmaking. My requests continue to fall on deaf ears and blind eyes, but I'm here to warn you once again that these laws are in violation of well-recognized property rights. I don't hear anybody talking about these property rights. I do believe people need to be punished for the laws they violate, but if the law is illegal to begin with, then where do we go from there? So these types of regulations have proven costly to many municipalities who've also failed to heed the law. Most recently in Wilmington, North Carolina, illegal short-term rental ordinances cost the taxpayers more than $500,000. The total judgment against the city amounted to more than $900,000. These ordinances regulating short-term rentals are illegal. They are in violation of the U.S. Constitution, the Alabama State Constitution, as well as other federal and state laws. I'm staunchly requesting the council to reevaluate these ordinances and make the necessary changes to make them legal, because it's not too late. And what we have is fine, but going another level to ban them, that's just another stomp on our rights. So I don't know what prompted the need to escalate from what we already had in place to escalating to banning it. Nothing exponential has happened. I've been living here for 4 years and I continue to see stray dogs. I have dog poop on my yard. I don't have a dog. Where is that coming from? August 3rd, there was a dog.
I allowed you to go dramatically over your time, so I appreciate
Okay,
your comments.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on agenda items only?
I'm Kay Mickle. I live at 313 Grants Mill Drive, which is within about a half a mile of the location where the library could be. And I, as well as the people who live in Holiday Gardens and those who live just across the street from the property, we would love the opportunity to walk to the library as well. We would love, as I've put in every single survey I've filled out, we would love for the sidewalks that were discussed before some of you even lived in Irondale. When they talked about opening up Grants Mill, I know Miss Kelly's here. She saw those original, the mayor saw them, the plans for Grants Mill, and they had street lights, they had really nice lights, they had benches, and they had sidewalks. And we would love for there to be sidewalks there as well. I mean, Old Irondale has a lot. It has sidewalks. We don't have any. So if we walk down the street. We have a lot of people now who are actually walking on Grants Mill for exercise, and they're walking on the road in the bike lane. So we would love that opportunity to have the library on our side of town, as well as whatever municipality buildings come or anything like that. We would love it. And I'm in agreement as well with Aaron that saying no Airbnbs sort of goes against not only the mayor's plan, but the plan that the city has more or less agreed with, that we want to be a place where people want to come. Who stays in a hotel every time you go out of town anymore? I don't. Sometimes I do, but I stay at Airbnbs, and they seem to be just fine with, as Aaron said, the teeth to whatever the city needs to have to control. And, you know, I'm very sorry for the things that have happened, but I think we as a city need to look at people who would like an alternate place to stay other than a hotel. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on agenda items only?
Terry Johnson, 1504 Monticello Road. First of all, I would like to thank the council, the mayor, city attorney, city clerk for the
past two ordinance council meetings. They've been very informative, very helpful. Thank you for your openness, for your willingness. And if there's no consensus reached here tonight, would hope that you would continue this process until a consensus is reached for something that is amenable to all of the citizens involved. I believe you all know how I feel. I think everyone here pretty well knows how I feel. If you had been shot at, you would feel exactly the same way too. And don't tell me that you wouldn't, because it would be not the truth. But I, again, just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on agenda items only? Yes, ma'am.
I guess I have a question about the library. Where is the geographic center of the city of Irondale? It would seem maybe.
If you could state your name and address real quick for the record.
Sorry, my name is Gretchen Thiel, and I live at 2205 2nd Avenue North, Apartment B. But we're at the north end of Irondale, correct?
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So it would seem to me that maybe, I don't know, is Grants Mill more centralized in the city?
That would, I mean, I'm no, our city maps get really kind of crazy when you start getting out that way.
Yeah.
I would agree with you that the location of Grantsville would be more centrally located in the city.
Yeah.
And that's not, I'm not being scientific by any means on that.
I know I live that way, and this library is great for me, but I know that I'm on the end of Irondale, so.
Copy.
Okay,
Thank you. Any other comments on agenda items only? Okay. Since we have no more comments on agenda items only, I would ask for an approval of the consent agenda
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
with items number
Items number 1 through 6.
1 through 6.
With the amendment.
Amendment to, which
Four.
one was it?
City holiday. Employee holidays.
And the employee holiday change of date.
Yeah.
Copy. Thank you. We have a motion for the consent agenda on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed, no abstentions? Okay. So the consent agenda is passed. On to regular business. Item number 1. Would someone please move on ordinance 2022-24?
Make a motion that ordinance number 2022-24 be considered read.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second by Councilwoman Cuellar. All in favor?
Aye. Make a motion we suspend all rules that will prevent the immediate consideration of ordinance 2022-24. Excuse me, I read wrong. No, that is correct. 2022-24.
A motion to suspend. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Roll call. Councilwoman Cuellar.
Yes.
Councilman Box.
Yes.
Councilman Sims.
Yes.
And myself, yes. And finally, sir.
Make a motion that we approve and adopt ordinance number 2022-24.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that passes. Item number 2 under regular business. If someone could please move
I make
item.
a motion that ordinance 2022-25, my version, be considered read.
We have a motion for an updated copy of the existing ordinance on the floor.
It's only fair to second.
Fair enough. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And that was the reading. Would you agree?
Aye.
Okay. That's the reading. Next piece, sir.
I make a motion that we suspend all rules that would prevent the immediate consideration of ordinance 2022-25.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. Councilwoman Cuellar.
No.
Councilman Box.
No.
Councilman Sims.
Yes.
And myself, no. Okay. So that could be reintroduced unless someone wants to introduce another motion.
Make a motion ordinance 2022-25 be considered read.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One moment.
I would recommend eliminating which one that we're talking about because it's going to be very difficult to do minutes.
I'm sorry, say that.
It's going to be very difficult to do minutes. when we're
Okay.
not sure which version.
So in the first motion that was put on the floor, that was Councilman Sims' updated version of
call
what
it
he.
B?
I'm sorry.
Can we call it B? Or, I don't
Two,
know.
yeah, B. Thank
that
you.
easy enough?
Fantastic. So that was updated copy. We're going to call B. That was introduced and did not survive the process. What we are discussing right now, and we will start the process from the beginning just to make sure that we're clear. What is on the table now? If someone could please clarify if they are introducing what was put into our council packet, which would be the elimination of short-term rentals. So if that could be made clear when this is introduced to the floor.
Read this.
Okay, make a motion that ordinance number 2022-25 regulating all short-term rentals in the city of Irondale and repeal all ordinance of the city in conflict therewith.
There is a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
To prohibit short-term rentals.
Okay, adding to prohibit short-term, wait.
So basically, the ordinance was left very vague the way it was introduced on the agenda. So that's why you're having to kind of shape it on the floor, Councilman Box. So if we are prohibiting, you're making a motion and introducing a ordinance to prohibit short-term rentals, correct?
Yes.
That is the ordinance that we were presented.
That was the exhibit that was in our, that was the exhibit that was in our packet. Yes,
Had
sir.
an attempt to actually modify, which really should be given some consideration, but it didn't pass, and you said it can be reread. Correct.
It failed the process tonight. Now, it can always be reintroduced at a later time, but I'm given an opportunity to have something brought back out on the floor in order to satisfy this agenda item.
Sorry, legal want to comment.
That was actually read, that, that Councilman Sims talked about, it has had its first reading.
Right.
So it will be on next week's agenda for its second reading unless it is withdrawn.
Gotcha. Understood. Does anybody care to make a motion to withdraw this, or do we want to stop where we're at and allow that to be introduced next meeting? Or if we withdraw Councilman Sims, we need to replace it with something or take no action whatsoever?
You could still move on the second ordinance and read it to see if it would pass. You could do that. That's why I was.
That's what we're
concerned
doing.
about
Okay, I wasn't seeing where you were going with that.
Making sure that we had two different delineations.
I understand the
It would
specificity
probably
between the two,
be
yeah.
Better if one was 25 and the other was, 26.
Okay.
That would probably be even better because then we would know as we're tracking it forward.
Okay, so would we need to say that Councilman Sims' iteration would be 2022-25? And that,
No.
I'm looking at this young lady.
It's just a numbering issue. His can be 26, this one can be 25.
Okay.
It's just whatever number they place on it.
Okay. So that being said, I believe we're at a spot where we can move forward with a new iteration of what was originally maybe discussed, or if there's something else that y'all want to interject.
Since Councilman Sims' actual motion was on 2022 25. I think I would leave his at that, and then I think I would put this in as
26. Okay. That being said,
We're gonna start the process again, correct?
Interesting process. All right, so we're going to basically create a third item. All right, the item that we're going to call it 2022-25 that was brought onto the table that did not survive the process. So let's go ahead and move forward with a third item. We'll call it 2022-26. Is that what legal is advocating?
Councilman Sims it did not, go forward tonight.
Right.
But it will actually go forward at the next meeting.
I understand.
So it is still a good ordinance. So
Right.
that is your first ordinance. Your second ordinance would be the other one that has been discussed, which would be to actually ban short-term rentals in the city of Irondale. So that's number 2. And so that could be 2022-26.
Copy. We heard legal on that one.
Brings me to the question, though, that with that said, if Councilman Sims can be revisited, is there a point to actually passing the third ordinance tonight, banning short-term rentals until Councilman London comes back and can listen to it, or more evaluation time is given to Councilman Sims? Question.
It's continued by just natural order at this point.
But if we pass the banning of it tonight, then it can still be brought up again and be adopted, replacing the one we just passed tonight?
It's not.
We haven't passed it yet. We haven't even brought it on the floor successfully.
That would be the only way. Otherwise, you would have 2 dueling motions on the next ordinance. 2 dueling ordinances on the next council meeting agenda.
Okay.
Okay. So, does anybody want to introduce this and any other ordinances this evening?
I'm about this time thoroughly confused.
I'm with you there. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there on this. I think we're just trying.
Not thoroughly confused. Why
The whole point of this exercise and this conversation is to make absolutely 110% clear what we are doing for everybody and the minutes. And I think we're just getting lost in the mud on accomplishing that. So, Aaron submitted an ordinance. It did not. It will come up again in 2 weeks. We can let that be. Or we can introduce another ordinance, and like legal said, we would have 2 dueling ordinance, especially if this one didn't survive the process.
But if this one did survive the process, then what happens?
We're still going to need a motion to withdraw Aaron's ordinance.
Or it will come up again, amending the one that possibly passes tonight.
Or it could be voted down next.
Or it could be voted down by a majority.
I understand. That's what I'm kind of thinking was that if we're going to have them fighting it out, why not let's have them fight it out after we've all had time to look at more of what Aaron's saying.
So are you advocating that we just stop where we're at and that we pick this up when it comes back at the next meeting?
No, I think we need to have the vote on the original one as well. I just am not sure. Councilman Quayle, if you know more about how to word this, why don't you go ahead and word it? Because I think that's more, you know more about how it should be read, having dealt with it.
I make a motion that ordinance 2022-26, which regulates all short-term rentals within the city of Irondale and repeals all ordinances of the city in conflict therewith to prohibit short-term rentals, be considered read.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I make a motion that we suspend all rules that would prevent the immediate consideration of ordinance 2022-26.
Second.
Second. Roll call. Councilwoman Cuellar.
Yes.
Councilman Box.
Yes.
Councilman Sims.
No.
Myself, yes. Okay. So that also will come up in 2 weeks from now.
Done that.
Okay. That finishes our agenda items for this evening. We will take public comments to the council on non-agenda items at this time. Any public comments about non-agenda items? Okay. At this time, our deliberation is basically over. We do need to go ahead and, do you have any comments about non-agenda items? Okay.
So, Council President, would you give a little bit more explanation before the comments of what is now taking place between these 2 ordinances?
So basically, the first, and I want to do my best here. So the first, Aaron's iteration, and Councilman Sims' iteration was introduced. It did not survive the process, so it would automatically come back in 2 weeks. Okay. Another version that prohibits was also introduced on the floor, and it did not survive the process, and it will come back next council meeting for consideration unless there is a motion to have either one of them withdrawn. Did I get that correct?
And can I make one comment on that?
Please.
With Aaron's proposal, at the second stage, which is where we suspend all rules, 3 council members voted against doing that, whereas Aaron voted in favor of it. So it comes back next week.
2 weeks.
Yes, in 2 weeks. With the 2022-26 ordinance, where we suspend all rules, had we all voted yes, it would then move, it would not kill it and have it come back 2 weeks later for our council meeting. But had he voted yes and move it to the third step, then it would have passed 3-1.
That is accurate.
That is accurate, yes.
Thank you for those explanations.
But now, if I can put my little 2 cents in,
Please and thank you.
at the
Since the council has not voted, you can't say exactly how that vote would have been taken, just from a legal standpoint.
Thank you.
Mayor.
But at that second step, it brings it back 2 weeks later. If you
But
have,
you can't say how if it had
Right.
moved past that, how it would have voted, because.
but
y'all
you
have not
need unanimous at that second level. At the third level, you do not need unanimous.
Mayor.
only thing I want to say that at the next council meeting, when they both come up, it just takes a majority vote.
Yes, I agree on both.
So
of
you
those.
don't
I
have to
agree
go
fully.
through the whole process.
Yes.
Introduce, whichever one gets the majority, that's the one that will be enacted and followed by the city.
Agree fully.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate the
Thank you.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I was talking about the dogs. So that's a problem. I've been living here for 4 years now, and stray dogs have been an issue. I took a picture of a dog on August 3rd. I took a picture of a dog on August 10th. I took a picture of a dog on August 27th and September 6th. On August 3rd, my son was actually riding his bike and I was following him in my car, and the dog was off his leash and chased my son. And if I wasn't in my car, I don't know. My son's scared to take the trash out because of the dog problem. So why don't we just ban all the dogs and make people have permits to have dogs? Because this has been an ongoing problem and it seems like the city can't get the dogs under control. Thank you.
We do have a vicious dog ordinance. If loose dogs are seen on the streets, you're more than welcome to call the non-emergency line with the police department. I have done so myself personally, as we've had an issue with stray dogs. You know where I'm at. And they came out, took a statement, tried to identify the dog, and we also have a non-tethering law on the books as well. So I would say, have you called the non-emergency line about those animals? I have to Google it every single time. You're just looking for Irondale Police Department, non-emergency.
205 5990.
Thank you. Any other comments on non-agenda items this evening? All right. Since we have no more comments on non-agenda items, at this time, I would accept a motion to enter into an executive session where we will discuss various matters of trade and commerce. And at the end of that executive session, we will end our council meeting. So at this point, I would take a motion to enter executive session.
Motion to enter executive session.
Second.
Second. Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this evening. Have a wonderful and lovely evening.